Welcome back inside the CKDJ studios here for a podcast-only edition of Wrestling with Ideas right here on, I guess it's not on CKDJ because it's podcast only. I am the chicken giblet, Colin Scully, and alongside me, alongside me, as always, we've got Dr. Bob and Gus Burgess. I feel like before I introduce what matches we're going to be watching today, I should explain the chicken giblet. Bob and Gus got Popeyes before.
Should not have chicken giblets.
I think this would be way more interesting if you just didn't explain it.
Yeah.
Hey, we want that Popeyes sponsorship, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, there you go. All right.
Louisiana giblets fresh. I love it. Popeyes, give us a call.
Louisiana giblets. All right. So, the first match that we're going to be watching here is back from a fighting for Bob. You know this one. You can introduce it.
Fighting Back 5 from August 2015, I do believe it was. Let's check that date.
16. Yep.
15, 16? What are we checking here?
No,
it's August 15th, 2015. I am correct. Gus is wrong. And so we're looking at this matchup here. It's the main event of Fighting Back. Fighting Back, for anyone who does not know, is the annual show that we've been having here. We're on number 8 this year in 2018 about Cancer Society charity raising. And a lot of money has been raised, tens of thousands of dollars in the past. The main event of the show,
we don't need the headsets. It's fine. We can hear it through the TV.
All right. Ultimo Dragon, the legend, coming in from Mexico via Japan, is coming in for the main event. I mean, quite frankly, the biggest name that has ever stopped by Ottawa wrestling here in the independent scene, teaming with the hallmarks of Ottawa wrestling, the Super Smash Brothers against Team Pazuzu. Leading up to this in C4 specifically, Team Pazuzu have been having a feud with all of C4 wrestling, constantly getting one over on the hometown here. And the 4 men here, I don't think Jaka is going to wrestle this one. The 4 men in attendance in this ring right now are Jaka. Who do we have here? We have the now LAX team EYFBO. And we have Pinky Sanchez as well in the mask. Now, this is such a historic match because Fighting Back tries to bring a huge crowd favorite, a huge special name in every year. And, I mean, you don't get much bigger than Ultimo Dragon. Ultimo Dragon, for those of you who don't know, has had an incredible career all over the world, especially Mexico, especially Japan. Also was in WWE. He specifically did that, and I do remember reading an interview because he wanted to be in WrestleMania. So did a year, was in WrestleMania, had his match and was out. But in the time, the man is an innovator, arguably, top 3 cruiserweights of all time, especially influential with the Japanese-Mexican hybrid style that is important now to this day than that lucha puro wrestler style that you get with guys like Tiger Mask, guys like Ultimo Dragon, and guys like Jushin Liger. Yeah. Again, the top 3 guys I was talking about. But Colin, Gus, do you guys remember this one? Is it your first time watching this? Are you excited for it? What's up?
This is the first Fighting Back match that I've actually seen. This is the first match off of any Fighting Back card that I've seen ever.
Well,
so
as for myself, this card happened just prior to when I started attending C4 shows as a fan, which is about a year and a half before I sort of joined the team and started on the ring crew. Mm-hmm. So I have not seen this match. This will be the first time I'm watching it on DVD. But my understanding is, Dr. Bob, you were in the building for this.
I was actually working sound that night. Was not on commentary as of yet. I had 2 matches tonight, actually, but wasn't on the main event. I would do that much later. But, that was over there on music. And this is the main event. The crowd, especially for his entrance, I've actually got it taped on my phone, but is the craziest, loudest I've ever heard that building. Now we do.
He hasn't made his entrance yet here.
No, he's right in the back.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, that's why they were bringing down all the streamers. Remember it before?
Right.
Those certainly weren't for Pazuzu, that's for sure.
We should take this opportunity to say cancer stinks.
Absolutely. Cancer does stink. We hope you all come out this month, August 25th, Friday. 24th? Let's check that date. Thanks, Gus. August 24th, come out to
St. Anthony's Hall, everybody, just off Preston. It's actually on St. Anthony's Street, just off of Preston, if you're local to the area.
It's the only thing that's on St. Anthony's, though.
It's the only thing that matters, baby.
Well, then nobody should have a problem finding it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, unless you want to go to the soccer club, but Who wants to go to the soccer club when there's some good wrestling going on?
Now listen, especially if you've never been to a
too
live
hot for
wrestling
soccer
event,
anyways.
This especially applies to you. You need to come out. You need to see this.
We want to pack St. Anthony's Hall full on Friday, August 24th for Fighting Back Wrestling Against Cancer number 8.
As always, doors open at 6:30, showtime at 7:30.
I do believe we'll have a big pre-show match as well. Usually we have a type of battle royal. We'll see what happens this year. No guarantees. Those two men, since that time, years back, have now been embroiled in a feud going on several years now. The two longtime tag team partners, almost a brother. I will shut up for 1 second. I think the crowd shot their streamer load a little bit too early there.
The crowd's certainly appreciative of having such a big name.
Yeah.
I've only ever heard that type of a pop, I do believe, maybe twice other than this match earlier when
At a C4
Dragon.
show?
Yeah. Well, this one isn't C4, mind you. This is Fighting Back.
Right.
So it's an amalgamation of a bunch of different people putting a lot of effort, so different companies coming in here to help out.
Okay.
We do have representatives from IWS, ISW, different promotions all around, Acclaim and such. And so, it's a joining of a lot of different promotions.
This is a huge undertaking where even most of the talent is also donating their time.
Is that
for
a young
this.
Riley? Off to the side there? Off on the right?
That would be.
Jesus.
Well, Riley's still young.
Well, I mean, like,
Young boy
He's
Riley.
a younger Riley.
young boy Riley back when he was, like, what, my age maybe or something probably, eh?
I think Jack is back on commentary now. That man is a riot. Led by Adam B here. I think everybody wants to see Ultimo Dragon. We'll see when he comes on in and what kind of impact he has. But let me tell you, all 5 of those men, even their opponents, all 5 of the men are such gigantic fans of the innovator that is Ultimo Dragon. Little fact too, Yoshihiro Asai was the inventor of the Asai moonsault. The obviously moonsault that you see nowadays. And that man also made his mark in Mexico, I think before he ever became a superstar over in Japan. So that has very big ties. And at this point, he was actually living in Mexico as well.
Yeah. No, we were talking a couple days ago. I was saying that I was getting into a little bit more of the lucha stuff. Is Ultimo Dragon's style of lucha something that you enjoy more than watching somebody like...
Well, he has a lucha puroresu type of mix that lucha resu, as some people call it. So it's a definitely different style. The lucha libre style, I have a few qualms with, not to get too controversial here, but yeah, he definitely brought this different style, brought it over to Japan, and what we have right now all across the world, I would say, much more reflects the lucha wrestler style that you see, rather than the straight lucha libre style.
Right.
They're very different styles as well, but sorry, I always enjoy Pinky Sanchez getting slammed down. That man was beloved before he joined up with Pazuzu over in Ottawa, so he was actually, I would say, one of the top 3 guys for quite a while before he teamed up with all his traveling mates, his brothers, all from New York. Pazuzu was one of these teams that kind of organically teamed up because of their combination of living all near each other and all being at the level where they were traveling around all over the United States trying to get their names out there. And of course, LAX being the standouts right now, with Dickinson being very close by.
At this time, LAX were Hernandez and Homicide.
Yeah, the current ones though, yeah. But I mean, I guess now they're kind of back too. So there's
it's like, well, I mean, it's the OGs against 5150 at Slammiversary, which was just sold out today. Actually, they
in
sold
Toronto,
out
eh?
Yeah.
People out there should know that LAX is from time to time are staples at C4.
Formerly Team EYFBO, who years after they team said their initials actually stand for Entertaining Your FB Off. The Funky Monkey in right now. And Stu Grayson, I think, out of everyone in that C4 locker room at this point, has definitely well, arguably, I guess, but has become one of the biggest improvements, biggest names out of this area. And huge matches like this where he's teaming with Ultimo Dragon definitely has helped his career to elevate it to the next level. That man is an easy bet for one of the breakout stars globally in the next few years, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
So Ultimo Dragon as well, that's a Mexican name actually, because a lot of people mistake it for meaning Ultimo meaning ultimate, but it's more in
Last.
Yes, it's more akin to last or final, like Ultimo Guerrero, also famous in Mexico. So being the last dragon, but that is a little bit of an erroneous name because he did train even Dragon Kid, who I think out of the current generation, although I mean at this point he's a bit older now too, is the definitely the arguably with maybe Ricochet, the two greatest cruiserweights going today right now. Dragon Kid, who has never had that international appeal, unfortunately, because of not breaking out in the States. But he did have the big match at Supercard of Honor that lit Dragon Gate on fire at one point. Yeah, that was his protege, and you'll see a lot of his style.
Eyes look like they're about to pop out of his socket there.
Sanchez has always been the most emotive of the whole Team Pazuzu. I'll have to see.
He wants no part of dealing with Stu Grayson, and I can't blame him.
Stu Grayson having just single-handedly cleared the ring.
Is that Adam that said that?
Pretty sure that's Jaka.
Ah.
The nasty savage himself.
Oh. Stu Grayson
The
teasing
legend
the
of
crowd.
all legends.
Are we going to tag in Ultimo?
Last year's big fighting back guest was Chavo Guerrero. We will see who comes in this year, 2018, Fighting Back 8. But here, right now, on this match, we have Ultimo Dragon. The inventor of so many different moves, the man who has had some of the greatest standout matches across the world, has been champion here and there and had a breakout career in WCW as well for those North American fans. The matches he had with people like Rey Mysterio Jr. very well remembered. That aside DDT that he invented too, almost like a sit-out sliced bread too. Wrist control here. See, I've got so many facts about all these six guys, especially Dragon. I don't even know if I can do commentary over this one.
Sorry, guys, if it looks like I'm not paying attention here. I'm just in the middle of scheduling an interview with, in Ross Foreman's words. Now, for those of you guys who don't know who are listening to this, Ross Foreman is the head of Impact Media's relations here. I'm in the process of scheduling an interview with whoever the Impact World Champion is, in his own words.
Breaking news, everybody. Breaking news.
On Friday morning. So if it looks like I'm not paying attention, that's because he's emailing me, trying to get me to call him.
I'm pretty sure the fans wouldn't know this right now, but that is amazing news right now, and I can't wait to see who that is. Is that going to be on Facebook? Is it going to be on social media once you find out the news?
I'm going to be posting it, hopefully. Yeah.
Good stuff. Mike Drastic. And Joe Ortiz is wanting to come on in. Drastic now, of course, known as Santana across the world.
Great.
And the last C4 match that these two had as well. Gus, you were there in attendance for that one against...
I think I was there for that one as
yeah,
well.
I think we're all there for that one.
That was my first C4 show.
The Fraternity. What a showstopper of a match.
What a show.
The Fraternity actually doing a little segue here. Have had a big career resurgence here in Ottawa, especially C4. They've been on Acclaim recently. They had those two gigantic wins over two of the top teams in the entire world in TDT and in the new LAX. Or
That's
Team
right, Dr.
EYFBO.
Bob. The match against LAX, Channing took a brutal shot to the head, which broke him open.
Probably deserved it. Look at this innovativeness. See, this is much more akin to the lucha style of submissions. The lucha style is so innovative in the submissions that they have. It's quite something that you don't see very much else. Maybe a little bit in that British quote-unquote world of sport style. Also, what an amazing announcement about World of Sport coming back recently. It's not. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm a little sad that we're not going to see Johnny Saint, Mark Rollerball Rocco, Johnny Kidd, and of course Big Daddy. What a roster they had back then. I mean,
Dave Finley.
Yeah.
A little bit of a teaser for the next match there. I'm just looking out in the crowd here. I recognize a lot of faces there.
I hope so. Ottawa has been very reliable in bringing out the big crowds, and a lot of these guys have been along for the ride for quite a few years. Thankfully, to all the C4 crowd and to all the Fighting Back crowd, we hope to see you continuously at all the shows.
The takeaway there, folks, is that we have repeat fans that don't falter. They're there every show. They never want to miss a show.
Well, with action like this, how can you want to miss a show? If there's one thing that Fighting Back, if there's one thing that C4 and all the companies have here, they give you your money's worth. Fist drop moonsault combo. Love that from the SSB. At this point, they're still the Super Smash Brothers instead of the SSB that they're known as now.
Player Uno and Player Dos.
Chop from the chest.
Crowd paying homage to Ric Flair with those chops.
Woo! Don't be giving too many spoilers away here, man.
That delayed big drop kick in the corner. What an event Fighting Back has been. Do you have some of the rest of that card on you, Colin?
Of which?
Of this Fighting Back show.
Got it right here.
Yeah. You want to give it a quick read through, anybody?
Sure.
My reading skills aren't so great after work.
First match on the card here is the Fighting Back Invitational first round match. Keep going, yeah. It's Thomas Dubois, Alex Vega versus Angie Sky and Dino Benjamin versus Sebastian Swab, Dean Evans versus Raheem Ali and Space Monkey. Second Fighting Back Invitational, Joy Janelle and Vanessa Craven. HC Ryder Von Vertigo versus Gabriel Fuerza and Jason Gorey versus Vasad and Mr. Jonathan Rukin. Up next, PCP Crazy F and Manny versus George Gatton. Addy
What
Starr
a match
versus
that
Cecil
was.
Nix. Too Cold Scorpio versus MVP Michael Von Payton.
We love you, George Gatton. Big fans.
Yep. Match for the ISW Championship between Izzy Dead Yet and Dan Barry. Roderick Strong of Undisputed Era fame, now in NXT, versus Metsir St. Jacques. And then the final round of the Fighting Back Invitational. And now we have this match here. So,
hey, Dan Barry's making that retirement tour right now, too. Whatever he does next, good luck to him. The man's definitely brought a lot of laughs, a lot of smiles, a lot of great action. Dan Barry.
okay.
Do you know where he's from? Danbury.
Yeah.
Get it?
Yes.
Danbury from Danbury, Connecticut. Fun little fact, that is the sole reason he was initially booked in Danbury, Connecticut for ISW. And then became one of the top guys over there and former tag team champions. There's very few people in the world as agile, as fast as Stu Grayson. That man is just pure lightning.
Oh.
Stopped by EYFBO.
I couldn't agree more, Dr. Bob. Just watching him run the ropes is something to see.
Oh, this mic comes all the way out. Guys, how much are you feeling those giblets right now?
What's that? I was asleep. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Huh?
What is it? Tryptophan?
Tryptophan. Yeah, tryptophan. I think I remember that Seinfeld episode, right? It was tryptophan. I think it's just because people eat so much that it just takes all your energy to digest it.
Yeah.
I think that's what it really is.
Fun wrestling little crossover. ECW actually named one of their shows This Ain't Seinfeld.
This ain't Seinfeld.
Yeah. I got to track that DVD down. I haven't seen too much of Pinky Sanchez in the last while. He has come to Montreal for ISW, or Kanawage specifically, and he is scheduled for September show as well. It's going to be a big return. Everyone.
ISW?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a big return. He's going to be challenging for the Falls Count Everywhere title held by Sexy Eddie coming up in a 4-way matchup. And that is going to be September 29th, Saturday, September 29th. Check out their Facebook for information. Check out their Facebook for tickets. Your favorite Dr. Bob will be ring announcing that one and commentating at least a few matches as well. I do love that Dr. Bob. What a voice he has. Don't you agree?
I can't get enough of him. It's like hearing Barry White in the bath. Wait, is that just me?
I can do Barry White. Fun story. I'm going to have to tell you about Barry White later, but I've been playing Barry White or singing it at home for a good year now. My wife just last week went, hold on, let me whisper this outside here. And then, yeah, she thought it was of a more sordid type of music, and I had to explain to her who Barry White was a year after me singing it.
Karaoke?
Everything I do is karaoke, baby.
Everything you say is sweet, sweet music, is it? Oh, yeah.
Sponsored by Popeye's Chicken and Barry White's music.
Don't be a baby, lady. Just be a lady, baby.
Is there a Chicken Barry White song? I would love to find one if somebody has
I'm sure
it.
there's been a
If there
parody in a
is, that has
commercial
to
or
be the
two.
bumper music in between the first and the second match segment here.
If you do find some fans listening to this, please do send it to Colin. What's your handle on Twitter?
I just changed it this morning, so I'm going to have to get back to you on that one.
He'll be dubbing over this probably with the handle right here. Silence for
Right
6
now,
seconds.
Insert Twitter handle.
At Giblets.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that'll just be like, you know, you can have your name and then your Twitter handle. The name on Twitter will just be Giblets.
Handle the Giblets.
Speaking about Giblets, hope Zach Giblets is doing pretty well.
I saw him this morning, just as I was getting to the station. He was just leaving.
Oh, I heard he ran away.
Yes,
Yes.
he did.
He's no longer in Ottawa.
No, well,
Got to be too much for him. Ow! Piggy Sanchez gets reversed.
that's an interesting noise there.
Sorry, too many Giblets.
Too many Giblets.
You know what I like about Popeye's Chicken? They're rice and beans. Fans, if you're listening to this and want a good quality chicken and can't take KFC anymore, go to Popeye's Chicken. Ask for the Dr. Bob special.
Tell them Dr. Bob sent
Tell
you.
them Dr.
It'll
Bob.
just confuse them.
It's just going to be 3 tubs of rice and beans and chicken skin. It just mix the chicken skin in there and makes it crispy. It's like bacon bits.
I only
like-
eat the chicken skin.
You what?
I only eat the skin.
I only eat the skin.
You
it's,
can have the chicken. I
Yeah.
just roll it up like a blunt.
It's kind of like a salad, you know. They mix in the bacon bits and everything, except the
Giblet salad.
yeah, giblet salad. Giblet salad with chicken skin.
Toss your giblets.
Oh no, wait, this is pirate radio. Can we say that? And insert Barry White music here.
Ah, giblets, baby.
The joys of doing a podcast, man. Like,
Oh, is this what we're doing?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
This isn't the radio
Is this-
show.
Is this a microphone? What is this?
What is this?
You know the match is good, folks, when there's no beer line at the VCC. Unfortunately, we're not running in the VCC anymore. We love our new home at St. Anthony's Hall, but I think all of us have fond memories of the VCC and just how long that beer line got. And at certain angles, I don't even see a line. I think everybody's just captivated by the in-ring action here.
You know, at his age, I'd have to Wikipedia it, but at his age, my goodness, does Dragon ever go fast. He's one of those guys like a Liger who's just looks like to be immortal, just ageless.
Going for an interesting little submission hold there.
Almost like an Indian deathlock with a twist.
Quite
Heel,
literally, actually.
yeah,
there.
with an ankle lock. Blocks a super kick, goes for an ankle lock himself.
With an ankle lock on Drastic.
Almost look like he was going for a calf killer point. If I know wrestling, here comes a sharpshooter. Oh, Dr. Bob does no wrestling.
My opinion, the greatest finisher in all of wrestling.
Better than the Mandible Claw? Better than Mr.
Close.
Socko?
It's close.
I remember when wrestling was big in elementary, high school. I can't remember exactly when that was. But, yeah, when Socko was a thing. I do recall some of our wrestling fans trying to chase each other around with a sock in our hand. It was a terrible time. I'm not exactly the fastest guy, Gus, so...
Let's just all admit it. Come on. The Rock and Sock Connection, one of the greatest tag teams of all time.
I'm actually more partial to the New Age
At
Outlaws.
this moment, the Pinky Sanchez realized that shoving his forearm into the face of player Uno wasn't exactly the best idea.
Out on his feet already. Sanchez, small in stature, big in heart, immense in cunningness, still can't really match up toe-to-toe with the giant of a man that is player Uno, now Evil Uno.
Kick out at 2 from Pinky Sanchez.
Pinky Sanchez actually now known as just Sanchez. He was at one point known as Pink Ant as well, as Chikara, part of the Ants. And, traded on them, joined BDK, Brudershafts, the Cruises. And, the man has been all over the place. Used to do a lot of death matches. Less so now. Has been one of the big names coming out of that New York area, out of indie wrestling. And, has had a bunch of people underneath his wing, is quite a veteran, quite a role model for a lot of the younger indie guys coming out. And his work ethic, his quality of matches, quite a thing. Especially like some of the newer guys like here, like the Chris Dickinsons, like the FBOs. Definitely a role model for them. Beautiful.
Team. What? Yeah.
Swinging Ace Crusher. Swinging assisted Ace Crusher. What an amazing, amazing story about Team UIFBO LAX now, too. Those guys were hustling hard, working everywhere, perfecting their craft, and now one of the most recognizable non-WWE tag teams in the world. It's
Right.
And we saw a whole bunch of them before they ever got to Impact here, just right in Ottawa. So one of the things you see about C4, one of the things you see about the local crowds, the local promotion series, that you see some of the breakout stars that can't miss. Some of the guys around this time frame too, guys like Adam Cole, guys like Roderick Strong, not at the level that they are now, but this is where you saw some of them come on up, make a name all over the United States for themselves. LAX, of course. Oh, I mean, I could go through thousands of names, really. But this crowd here, they taken people like LAX. They taken guys like Pinky Sanchez as their hometown guys. And it's amazing to see.
And now that Impact is based out of Toronto, there will definitely be
Is it officially out of Toronto yet, or transitioning?
Anthem Sports and Entertainment is based in Toronto. So now with that, there is going to be a lot more Canadian exposure to Canadian wrestlers.
Impact Wrestling. If you want to hear commentators talk about Giblets, about Popeye's Chicken and Barry White, give Gus Collin and Dr. Bob a call. I mean, you can't do wrong by them.
You can't replicate this content.
I mean, do you like fried chicken skin? Of course you do, Impact Wrestling. Give us a call. Actually, the one man in this entire matchup who is actually retired at this point is the referee Baquet. He has done the occasional reffing match, but for all intents and purposes has been done with wrestling. That's the Japanese version of the arm drag. And it's an over-the-head arm drag without the side twist. Cannonball and a 450 combination. I believe he might have even been El Presidente Carlos Sanchez for a little bit as well. I think he's run through a few different gimmicks. Crowd solidly behind the hometown heroes and Ultimo Dragon. I mean, how do you boo against a guy like Dragon, though? Actually, I got my WrestleMania DVD signed by Dragon that year.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, the one and only WrestleMania he's ever been in.
Which one was that? 10?
10? Oh, dear
10.
God, no. Like 20-something. I'll have to look it up.
Right.
How old do you think Dragon is?
I don't know. Well, how old is he?
We can Google it up for you.
Right.
Remember, WrestleMania 10, if that was
yeah,
about
that's
95,
90
it didn't exactly have its big share of Japanese wrestlers, especially faces. For a long time in all of WWE history and wrestling history and period, Japanese guys coming over here were not baby faces at all. It was not something that the bigger companies regularly did. The only times that you saw something like that happen, I'd say even earlier than that, with example of a guy like Rukino-san, was when you had a heel that was so over the top, like a Freddie Blassie, that the fans kind of cheered for the Japanese guy by default. So even guys that you had in wrestling and in WWE, oh, here comes our, I believe it was called the Game Over at this point. Oh, the fatality. It's got to be done here. Signed, sealed, and delivered by Adam B. So just to finish up that little story here, even the guys that you saw who were hitting it big around that era were guys like Yokozuna, not actually Japanese Samoan, but portrayed as a Japanese man.
Correct.
You saw guys like Hakushi, all heels actually portrayed as. And even before then, who did you have there? You had Fuji and the recently departed Masasa Ito. Sorry?
Are we talking Japanese guys in WWE here?
Inoki never had a run in WWE. So Masasa Ito.
Really?
Yes.
I could have sworn he did.
Look it up if I'm wrong.
Maybe yeah.
Yeah, if we're talking strictly WWE.
Yeah, Masasa Ito and Fuji had a big run as well. But
Peace, Master Saito.
yes, rest in peace, man. That man is a legend. One of the toughest guys ever to step through. Had a big hand in training a lot of people. Had a big hand in even getting guys like some of that era off the ground. And
also just big hands.
yeah, big hands. That man.
Moving on. Gus, why don't you tell the people your suggestion for the match today, for the next match? Because I think this was your match, right?
Sure, let's go with that.
Right. So this will be SummerSlam 2006. This will be Ric Flair versus Cactus Jack, a.k.a. Well, I should say Mick Foley, a.k.a.
Was he Jack?
It was
the
Cactus
Jack gimmick
Jack
at this
in
point?
this
Nice.
match. That's right.
Yeah.
So give us the background on this really quickly.
I actually can't give you the background to the lead up to the match.
Yes.
I've had times in my life where I've paid close attention to WWE and other times where I don't, and this was a time where I wasn't paying much attention. However, retroactively, I've gone back and discovered this match.
You can tag Bob in.
Tag
Bob in!
Bob's going to tell you in 1 second, but I do just want to say that although it's not an athletic display of its insanity in wrestling,
Poppycock.
it is such a good little story that they tell. I mean, I Quit match. By the way, it's an I Quit match.
Now for this one, we will need our headsets though, because it's not being played off of the laptop, and I should probably switch the screen over.
I Quit
So,
matches
Dr.
are.
Bob, while I am switching the screen over, why don't you tell the people the story?
Okay, so these two men obviously have been wrestling all around the world, have worldwide recognition and fame, but the big books coming out of wrestling, now we see thousands of books come out. Oh, there's Melina. We see thousands of books come out of wrestlers, and autobiographies and biographies seem like they're a dime a dozen. At that point, though, there were only a few wrestling books that came out that had kind of got into the mainstream, arguably with Dynamite Kid's book, but mostly with Mick Foley's book, New York Times bestseller for multiple ones of them. He had released news, or he had released a little snippet in there about Ric Flair, mostly actually talking about his time booking in WCW and how he didn't appreciate it, but also backed that up with saying that Flair was a great wrestler, just didn't agree with his booking decisions and how he ran some stuff in WCW. Of course, Ric Flair, being the kind of person he is, took much insult to that, and then went on in his own book to say that that Foley was nothing but a glorified stuntsman, didn't know how to wrestle, couldn't do anything, was just there to take bumps, and he's been very insulting to a lot of people in the hardcore type of style, like a Sandman, etc. And I think he left Funk off of that list too because of how good friends they are, but saying that Funk could still wrestle, unlike a Foley. They eventually patched it up, but at this point, they actually had legitimate, let me just use the word heat here, I guess. And it was all stemming from that book, different arguments. They had a bunch of arguments in the back as well. And WWE really, really excels in wrestling, I'd say, and overall excels when you take real heat, real feuds between people and put that in the ring. And it's such a weird, amazing thing to see in wrestling when you have two people who just hate each other's guts and they can still be in there as professionals and still perform, work out a match, do all that stuff. But if you see a couple of shots that are a little closer than for comfort than you're expecting, this does stem from real animosity between the two. They actually, before this one, Gus, had another match, but Foley DQ'd himself in the match out of anger. I believe it was a 2 out of 3 falls. Flair was kind of out wrestling him. So this match actually came as a continuation of that. And TNA at the time, before Impact, when both these two men were under contract for them after Ric Flair's quote-unquote retirement match, had a feud with those two again, stemming from kind of old bad blood here that they had kind of buried under the bridge and all that. And is he sporting a black eye from a previous Foley match?
That is correct. He is sporting a black eye already.
So they had a match over at TNA as well, and so this feud kind of carried on for quite some time, even though it was kind of finished after WWE. But there was bad blood. They kind of figured everything out, and they were kind of, I guess, made their amends after that. But up until this point, let me tell you, they really disliked each other.
Getting right into it right off the bell.
Here we go.
What I love about this match is the great story that's being told. For me, as a wrestling fan, I'm always most captivated by excellent storytelling, whether that happens between two bells or whether that spills out into an overall program or storyline. But we've all seen movies and stories where the hero is really tough and there's no chance the hero would ever break.
But okay, arguably, who is the hero, quote unquote, in this?
Well, we'll watch this unfold in front of us, but without spoiling anything. Oftentimes in those types of stories, you're not going to break the hero. So what they do is they'll go through the hero's daughter or the hero's wife or something like that.
Mick Foley going for Mr. Sacco early in the match. What it seems like.
And of course, you can never get enough of Rick in despair, right? And
I think we were just talking about Sacco a few minutes ago.
That's right. And here we go. Sacco's coming out already.
See, actually, the great thing about that is that where Flair had been talking about Foley as a non-wrestler, and here he is, Foley just proving the point of taking a sock out of pants and sticking it down Flair's throat, insult to injury. He knows he's not going to get the submission this quick, but that's kind of Foley proving his point.
Foley's going to ask Flair to quit here.
It's going to look a whole hell of a lot worse. Say it! You're going to suffer.
You're going to suffer.
Only giving Flair a chance to end this.
Colin, we were talking about just promo guys in history, and I put Cactus up there above Flair.
Above Flair?
Yes, sir.
Interesting.
I'll give you.
I said too.
No,
I'd say
you take the two men at their prime. I'm going to put Flair at a comfortable number 8, but I'll show you the rest of my list in a little bit.
All right.
Cactus is definitely a top 3. Look at that. He was going to go for the barbed wire.
Barbed wire, Mr. Sacco. But Ric Flair decides to go for some claws of his own, shall we say.
I mean, this story was so well told. I mean, Ric Flair, while known for bleeding and things like that, he's not really known for barbed wire in his matches and things like that. Again, I'm not going to spoil what's coming up next.
Hey, he had his first ladder match ever against Edge. That entire career went by. Yeah. Never a ladder match.
Now, there's just no way that Santana's Cobra wasn't inspired by Sacco.
Santana or Santino?
So, I'm sorry, Santino. My goodness, I misspoke there.
Oh!
Ric Flair now wearing Mr. Sacco with the barbed wire chops to the chest.
Who wants to give him those knife edge chops?
Here we go.
Woo!
Like you were saying, that story. See, what a great visual barbed wire. It's always been one of my favorite matches. That little thing of your shirt getting stuck, your tights getting stuck to the barbed wire, adding to that kind of exhilaration of the fans going, oh my God. Yeah, it's such a little easy thing to do. I think he hit the ref there. A little easy thing to do, and adds so much to the match.
Kyoto's taken enough bumps over the years. He can handle it.
I love this bump. Look at this.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know who doesn't love it? His knees.
No, yeah. But the way he just takes the stairs right on both kneecaps and goes.
And you know that's Foley going close and going, throw me into the stairs, throw me into the stairs.
Just beautiful. Oh, I love it.
You're a sick man, Gus.
I love it. You're sick man if you put Foley's
Giblets.
promos over Flair. Come on.
Sir, I will forward you about 10 Foley promos that I think can blow anything.
You know what I would?
Flair's
You
done
know
out.
what?
The barbed wire, what is that?
The barbed wire board.
Barbed wire
Yes,
board.
straight up, yeah.
I bet you Flair's going to be bleeding after this.
Oh.
Oh, and with that white hair. Oh my goodness. Nothing looks better than a white-haired man
sick,
who's
Gus.
cut open.
Gus, you have a family.
Him and Hogan, they
There's
just
a
look,
family,
they look
damn it.
great when they blitz.
You know what's great? Try explaining this to somebody who doesn't watch wrestling. It was like the story I heard one time. I think it was the Edgeheads when Edge versus Flair was happening. I believe that's when. So you had Zack Ryder and you had who else was in the Edgeheads? Brian Myers.
Kurt Hawkins.
Kurt Hawkins, thank you. They were just covered in Ric Flair's blood at one point, apparently, in the corner of the story.
Yeah.
They went to the back and were like, oh my goodness, I never want to wash this off. And then also follow that up with, would anyone not in wrestling understand that could be covered in another man's blood?
Very true. And I love the Ric Flair in peril this for most of this match.
I mean,
The blood-
there's very few men who do it better.
I mean, the way he goes, I mean, I can't do a Ric Flair impression. I can do some other wrestlers, but the only thing I can do is say,
I do want to hear you. When we're off the air, I do want to hear your Iron Sheik, by the way.
Hey, this
time for this shit.
this is uncensored. It's fine.
Oh, are we uncensored?
Yes.
Oh, wait.
It's like it's the
Oh,
bonus
right.
audio.
Okay.
It's not the radio show.
Oh, Flair with
Dr. Bob works clean,
the,
brother.
Flair with the barbed wire board drop. Just the way Flair goes,
It's weird, though. Flair's not bleeding from other parts of his bodies for some reason, even though being hit with the same barbed wire.
You tell me what I want to hear, Rick. Say it.
See, that's
I
what...
love this. I love it.
It's so great. Who used to do that a lot, too? Jerry Lawler used to do it quite a bit, too, when he was a heel.
The kiss my ass.
No.
thing?
Bring out a mic during his match to add a
Yeah.
bit. His was more
Okay.
trash talking his opponent. But
Yeah.
in an I Quit match, you have that extra element of being able to jaw jack with each other for the whole crowd to hear. And you know it's going to be, ask some guy, here comes the face with a witty retort.
Here we go. This is what I didn't want to spoil earlier in the match here. Here come the thumbtacks.
I still don't see Foley as a heel. I see him as a justified angry man.
I see that as well.
As it just, yeah.
But I think clearly Flair is the
Flair's a sympathetic one, yeah,
He-
being his
absolutely.
age and out of his element, and that's what's so great about this match too. You don't think of Flair as a hardcore guy.
but the way they told this story was just perfect for what was going on in here.
Yeah.
You know, it's great with the WWE fans too, because a lot of them being of a certain age and not watching perhaps some of the older wrestling, they haven't seen Flair. Ooh,
There we go.
they haven't
being
seen
dumped onto the
Flair
backs.
do too much of the hardcore stuff. I can't imagine.
Is that like talking to me without actually talking to me?
How old are you?
17.
But you didn't have to say that on air.
I don't give a shit. It's fine.
Here we go again.
I've said it before.
Ric
Yeah, right here,
Flair
right
Flair
here.
has
Listen.
boots older than you.
Yeah, no, I love that.
You know who's also great mid-match for like facials and screaming is Vince McMahon.
Oh, Vince. Nobody beats Vince
Oh
McMahon's.
man, Vince and
facials.
Flair were so great as kind of mid-match emotion. They actually had a match too at WrestleMania. Flair and McMahon.
What is? Oh,
Are you going to say Vince was a better promo than Flair too?
No. You know what? I'm gonna look up the message I sent Colin. I'll tell you exactly who I told him was a better promo than.
Terry Funk. Cactus
Funk
Jack.
Funk was a better promo. Cactus Jack, who's in there right now, of course. And there comes his. I think on multiple occasions he's called that Barbie.
Yep.
Flair has been to hell and back already in this match.
I'll say it out loud for people too if they
A
want
little
to.
bit of a momentum.
If they want to come back at me and argue with it, that's fine. You can catch me.
No,
at
I'm just breaking
Dr.
your balls a little bit. Honestly, they're
Cactus Jack. I would say Piper. Piper definitely beats Flair in my book. Eddie Kingston.
Yeah,
at his,
I can see that.
Eddie Kingston at his prime, I would say, is a 3 or number 4. The Rock's not a top 10 guy.
come on. How many guys?
Charismatic,
I've
but
had
not
that many catchphrases.
charismatic. Yeah, catchphrase, sure.
Now, see,
Look at him just rip apart his arm, too.
here's the. Would it be wrong to say that Ric Flair is the best WCW promo of all time?
I'd have to
Well,
look
taking
back.
into
Depends
account-
on how you're asking. Were his best promos cut in the WCW?
No, of course
Definitely not,
No,
right?
No.
definitely not.
So, what, or are you asking from the perspective of is he the best?
Promo in WCW.
I'd have to look back and
Like straight up
The
from
guy with the best
take
capability
take
in
from
that
like let's say starting in 1989, 1990.
I need a list of guys.
Back when WCW first started their television shows, or NWA as it was known with
Flair now put in the
with
question.
JCP.
I will tear out your heart.
See, now who's the sympathetic guy? You know what? Okay, he's the baby face, and he's
quote-
gone for 4 crotch
Yeah.
grabs.
To
I don't
quote
know.
to
Okay,
quote
but-
Sean Ross Sapp for a second there, Ric Flair just punched Mick Foley right in the penis.
However, these are anything goes rules right now.
Oh,
right? And this
What a
huge
bump
bump.
there too.
He
You
took
know,
his
you
WrestleMania
know,
Yeah.
you know that was him.
He took that WrestleMania bump. Remember when he went through the flaming table, too?
Yeah, I
That
mean,
was-
Cactus with a flat back right off the apron to the concrete and hitting his head off the garbage can.
Another, it looks like he might be calling for medical
It's like you
attention
wonder
for
why
Mick
the
Foley.
man's retired, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Who
saw
else?
And then you
one-man
wonder
show
why
at
he doesn't
Yuck
want to
Yucks, and
train.
he was
And
having
then you
a tough
wonder
time
why he
walking
doesn't want to
around.
train his daughter too.
Does his daughter want to wrestle?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Watch Holy Foley on the network.
No.
She's very, very
No?
good. from what
No,
heard.
I refuse, Colin. I've got.
All right,
coming
Melina.
Remember.
Now
I did-
here's something. Here's a question that I have. What the hell is with Melina and Mick Foley?
That's what I was about to say. Mick Foley at this time, and even after, if you look at his interaction with people like Sasha Banks and everybody, he had been a big proponent of pushing women to kind of the mainstay, and they had a thing where he was backing Melina on a lot of things. She was getting criticized for a few things, so they had interactions and a storyline going for a little bit. Melina didn't really have anything with Flair going about, but it was
Flair saying this is not a laying out
The
on your ass
plasma.
match. It's an I quit match.
the Krenzen
No
mask.
sympathy for Mick Foley, who's unconscious at the moment.
Yeah, that's a baby face for you, Gus, eh? Yeah,
I quit matches are
disagree.
different.
Disagree.
Weren't
So
we calling Ric Flair the sympathetic one like 2 minutes ago?
that's why I said I disagree. So the other guys really quickly on my list: Ernie Ladd, the Big Cat, Dusty Rhodes, Paul Heyman, Terry Funk, CM Punk,
baby.
Ric Flair, John Moxley, who is now Dean Ambrose. At their primes, each one of those individuals, big claim to being one of the greatest promos of all time. Yeah, and I'd still put Cactus Jack right up there.
That's fair. I'm just breaking your balls a little bit. There's certainly a very strong argument that can be made.
Breaking my giblets.
If that,
Flair says he's gonna tear Foley's eye out of his head with the baseball bat here that's covered in barbed wire.
Colin, have you watched the Terry Funk, Roddy Piper? No, sorry,
Terry-
Terry
that-
Funk, Jerry Lawler, empty arena match yet?
that is one of the matches I was actually planning on watching when I got home tonight.
Good. You'll see the eye bit there. See, actually, Melina, I believe after this traded on him too because she was with Eminem around that time too. So took Foley's kind of all his kind words and everything and encouragement and just threw it back in his face. You'll see him online too, especially when they were doing the Women's Revolution. He was really pushing at that forefront of male wrestlers, pushing towards.
Mick Foley's arm is.
Melina throwing the towel in.
Melina can't take this anymore. She wants to end this match. Trying to throw in the towel on this.
I don't think is the
Flair's
ref going to allow it.
None of it. Flair's gonna have none
No.
of this.
Melina throwing the towel.
I don't think Foley's going to be very happy with that later.
Well, she's seen enough. I think we have as well. Foley bleeding from all parts of his body.
Also, you gotta consider thumbtacks, barbed wire that Flair knew was gonna come, and yet he dresses up like that to this match.
Throwing the towel in. She does not quit for him. He quits. Get out of the way. Oh my God! Look at Flair. Flair is a man possessed here.
See, I love this because Flair is not known for this type of match, but he's the one keeping this going.
Yeah.
He's the one not quitting here.
Hey, Flair did have one of the most famous hardcore matches.
And he rolls right through the thumbtacks just to get in the ring.
Hey, he's got that adrenaline going.
The details in this match are just so on point. And because he was about to hit Molina.
No, Foley just quit, though.
Yeah, it's to
Holy
further
quits.
that story with Molina and him.
So that's what I was saying earlier. Sometimes they go through your wife or your kid. Obviously, the ending to this match is just perfect because nobody would expect Foley to quit to Flair. And he kind of didn't. We kind of all get the impression here that he was saving Molina instead.
Well, also the time that we didn't think he was going to quit was Flair and no, I'm not. I see that sign. I'm not going. With Rock and Mankind too. No, go ahead, Colin. Your show.
No, I was just going to say we're going to have to wrap things up here, so if you guys had any closing thoughts on...
Ric Flair rules. Mankind rules.
They both rule. Yes, they
They
do.
both do.
What a great little feud that didn't go on too long, but it comes from real animosity.
So if you had to break Foley down into his multiple personalities, which one of those did the best promos? Cactus Jack, Mankind,
Cactus.
Dude Love,
Cactus.
Cactus of
Well,
all.
not really, dude. Dude was.
Because Mankind had some pretty compelling stuff.
Yeah, but here, let me
very
send you
dark.
let me send you some of the ECW stuff he did too. Not to sound too stereotypical of Mankind. Oh, because Paul Heyman, one of the
Yes,
greatest
yeah.
promos of all time, has said that Mick Foley and the best promo work he's ever heard has been Cactus Jack and ECW anti-hardcore stuff. Not everyone's on board with it, but I definitely support that
This was
too.
back
There's
at,
some-
back at the time when he was not happy with the crowd reactions, right? At ECW.
Yeah, he wanted to change up his character a little bit and had a little bit of that corporate Mankind kind of. You could see where that came from at that point.
So what's the moral of the story, folks?
Moral of the
Popeye's
story-
Chicken, Giblets,
Don't roll around in thumbtacks with a shirt
Barry
off.
White.
Don't roll Barry White.
Don't invite Molina to your hardcore match.
Don't invite Molina to your hardcore match. Watch out for thumbtacks if you're trying to roll into a wrestling ring.
Watch
And
out for
Giblets
them.
make you tired.
Yeah.
All right.
You know what's a good office trick? If you're tired, put one thumbtack in your mouth and roll around like gum. You're going to be pretty safe unless you fall asleep. It will keep you awake. I'm not saying I've done that, but I'm not saying I haven't done it. So go.
I feel like you're saying that because you did it literally today.
I'm going to drink some water.
All right. Thank you guys for coming back again. This is really the fun stuff where we
man.
get to talk about.
I'm happy to come back all the
Yeah.
time. My wife lets me get out of the house and stuff too. It's
Yeah.
always a good time.
Fighting Back 8, folks.
Fighting Back
Back
8.
8.
Be there.
August
What is
24th.
the date? There you go. August 24th. You can get your tickets at retailers like Vertigo and such. You can check all that information online. The rest of the card's going to come out pretty soon, but check it out on Facebook. We're big supporters of Fighting Back. Excellent cause. Come see the action. You'll see what kind of huge names are coming out for that, what great matches, and the best thing of all, amazing amount of money raised for charity. So,
Yep,
you
for
you
the
come out,
Canadian
have
Cancer Society.
you come out, have a fun
All
time, and you
proceeds
feel good
donated.
about yourself.
All right. Have a good one, guys.